This will be much more inspirational. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce your Peoria-North Foundation board. So if you're here, would you please stand? Jeffrey Allen isn't here. He's our liaison for the club board. Heather Longfellow is here. Katie Neiditcher, Jeff Randolph, Kelly Evans, Tom Rickey, Brock Hessing, Kim Turk, and Clay Eunice. This is your board. And Kelly is in charge of our inspirational program today. And I want to give special thanks to Heather and Kelly for all the work they did today. I was in Florida.
Hi, everybody. You get me today. Thanks for staying. On your tables, there are some crossword puzzles. And so if you want to grab a pencil, a pen, and your crossword, it's okay to work on it while I'm talking. And if you are paying attention to the slides, you might find some of the answers and some of the spellings of the answers if you're looking for that. So today we're going to talk through information about the Rotary Club of Peoria-North Foundation. We like to make sure that we do this program once a year so that for all of our new members, they can get some tidbits about how we're different from the Rotary International Foundation, but then also just a refresher and just to give you updates on how things are going. The other thing is on your tables, there's a flyer that Ashley put together a few years ago that talks a little bit about how our foundation raises money. And so you can also refer to that if you're looking for answers as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Maybe.
How about no?
Nope. Oh, now.
Working?
There we go. Okay. All right. So our board members are listed above. Then just called everything off. So we have 3-year terms for our foundation board, and so you can see we try to stagger those so that we can get new people in to help. And so you can reach out to anybody if you have questions about the foundation at any time. And so these are your point people. Maybe no, it's not working again. Oh, there we go. Okay. So Ed Siebert joined Rotary.
Kelly, go back. There you
It's going crazy. Nope, it's going the wrong way. Okay. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I haven't been up here for a while, so excuse me. I don't usually use the slides either. So Ed Siebert joined the Rotary Club of Peoria-North on December 15th, 1994. Bob Lamoureux sponsored Ed's membership into the club, and Ed was a corporate executive for Caterpillar for over 40 years. After joining the Rotary Club of Peoria-North, Ed contacted Jim Tomlin in 1997 to encourage the club to create its own foundation to be more effectively able to support local philanthropic projects. Susie Smith was president at that time, the first female president of Peoria-North. And a proposal was submitted to Rotary International to form the Rotary Club of Peoria-North Foundation. And in November 1997, Rotary International approved the Articles of Incorporation for our foundation to be here in Peoria. On January 6, 1998, it was formally incorporated under the state of Illinois provisions. And the Rotary Club of Peoria-North provided the initial funding of $10,000. So we started with a mere $10,000 to grow into what we're going to talk about a little bit later. In December 1998, the IRS determined that we have tax exempt status, and so this key step allowed our foundation to accept tax deductible contributions and to make distributions to causes based upon the guidelines that we set. I'll just have you click it for me. I don't know why it's not working.
I can click it.
Okay, next please. Okay. The annual appeal was introduced in the 2005-2006 Rotary year. Contributions from the annual appeal are tax deductible, as you well know. And the concept of our annual appeal is that our club would like to support the community, and we set goals every year for that. And it's better achieved by a single concentrated appeal rather than several frequent asks to our club members. So the annual appeal has allowed our club to fund countless initiatives, including community support grants, adopt school programs, local projects, youth programs, and all the things that we get to do. So how does it work? Next slide, please. The Peoria-North Foundation operates under a constitution. We have bylaws and a mission and objective statement, and our foundation is governed by the officers and directors, as you saw on that one slide, who are all members of our club. But all members of the Rotary Club of Peoria-North are members of the foundation, so you all get to weigh in. You are all members and have a voice at the table. So the club board represents that, but you all have a say. So speak up and make your voice heard along the way. So our mission is basically to watch the investments that we have, the funds that we oversee, to make sure that we're continuing the foundation that we have laid financially, and to manage the funds. Right now, we partner with Baird Wealth Management to help assist us in our investment priorities. And the target that we have for our assets is to have 60%-ish in equities and 40% in fixed income. So if anybody cares about that, that's kind of the ratio that our bylaws really state, so that we continue to grow our monies, but to be conservative, so that in times of downturn, we are still able to fund the things in the community that we would like to do. So our key initiatives, it's really to provide financial assistance to support the committees that we have, the schools that we support, the other community organizations that we partner with. And so as the board, we are financially looking at what those budgets look like and what we're able to contribute to our committees to actually do the work that we'd like to do. We want to make sure that we're promoting the opportunity for people to donate to the foundation, so that we can continue to grow those monies, and just make sure that we're appropriately being good stewards of our dollars. So we have a foundation checking account, and the money from the annual appeal goes in there. The Good News Boot goes into that fund. Scooter buttons is the money that people pay, goes into the foundation, and then the foundation matches whatever money is in there, and that's how we do the scooter drawings. We do the weekly raffle, and then general donations that go into the foundation, and that's just how we are able to support our literacy programs through at least Fort Allen, any of the adaptive school projects that we do, Sterling Merit. There's some money that comes from our club in that. Our community support grants that we saw last week that Tim presented on, and the checks that we write for those. Our Interact and Rotaract scholarships, which we'll be deciding upon relatively soon, and our local projects. So those are just kind of a general area of where those monies go. And so you all contribute every week to those opportunities, and so we're able to do more and be able to do good in the community. So we have 4 accounts. The first account is our Lamoureux Endowed Fund. Lamoureux is spelled Lamoureaux, if you can't see that. Hint, hint.
Nice.
And so, and it was established by Bob Lamoureux in 2007, and that was to really provide scholarships. That was the basis of what that endowment fund is about. We also have an educational endowment fund, which supports scholarships and then other things that we do within the schools. Community endowment is really unrestricted support to do projects and initiatives. And then our unrestricted account was created by our signature event in 2006, 2007, and now is just really at the discretion of the board how we use those. But all the money are invested into these endowments, and so we take a conservative look at what the spend is for each year. So we look at the market earnings and how well the last 3 years have done in the market, and then we take a percentage of that, and that's really what we are able to spend for the next year. So it's between a 3 and 5% spend. For those of you that kind of know how endowments work, that's what we look at when we start setting the budget for the club board. So our club uses the foundation dollars to support all of the things that we do, as I've said. And to date, the annual appeal and the Ed Sievert Fellow Award has raised more than $500,000. So that's really great. Give yourselves a round of applause. So these are just ballpark numbers. Community support grants, about $12,000 a year. Adopt a School, over $6,000 a year. Our RILA, we give scholarships to area students to attend, and that's almost $1,200 a year. Interact and scholarships for Dunlap and Richwoods, and our Rotary scholarships at Bradley and ICC, $16,000 a year, which is earmarked this time around. Sterling Merit, we give $6,000 to the top 8% of high school seniors, and Service Above Self awards, almost $3,000 per year that we give out to students. So those are just a snapshot of some of the scholarships and support we give to students. And we have a really long list of past projects. So this is a very short list. This doesn't really give the full picture. So I'm going to read off some things pretty fast. But we purchased Chromebooks and whiteboard technology for our Adopt a School partners at PRLC, branded hoodies and that were used for positive behavior at least Fort Allen. The Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired were able to purchase the GPS-enabled We Walk canes and the Alexa devices, and then we helped with some of the training on those items. And recognizing the need for amenities along the bike trail at Donovan Park, we rolled up our sleeves and installed the new shelter and water station. And in addition to making this more accessible and enjoying things, we can get water, you can give your dog water, you can fix your bike if it breaks, all those good things. And that's just on behalf of our foundation and Peoria-North. In a major effort to support the environment and sustainability, our club planted 50 trees in Donovan Park at Lynn's year as president. And it not only benefited our area by beautifying it, but it also, contributes to clean air, and environment being one of our 6 areas of focus. In partnership with Hines Primary School, we created a butterfly garden. I'm kind of going back a ways for some of these for our new members. You probably don't hear about some of these projects as often as some of our members that have been around a while. So I'm kind of going back in history a little bit. We purchased home goods to assist in setting up apartments with everything someone needs to go from being homeless to having their own place, the Phoenix Community Development Center. We partnered with the Center for Prevention of Abuse. Oh my goodness, I'm struggling today. To construct self-care kits for individuals and families suffering from domestic abuse. We have purchased thousands of books and materials for our reading buddies and our pen pals and the Little Free Library. Our club has supported not only establishing new wells in Haiti, but some of that money did come from our foundation and teaching locals how to maintain service. So that's a Rotary International project, but our local foundation did help support those things. So we are doing so much here in Central Illinois, but we also have supported things abroad as well. We partnered with Shelter Box, an international disaster relief charity that provides emergency shelter and other aid to families. So thank you so much for all of those things. Okay, there's a couple pictures of some of those. So we've contributed to enhancing learning environments, benches in the school courtyards to create welcoming space for students to learn and interact. We supplied fresh produce and shelf-stable food items for our Little Free Pantries. We have funded the installation of water stations throughout the schools in District 150 and provided water bottles to encourage hydration during when everybody was going back to school after the pandemic. We've offered gas cards and gift cards for lunches, aiding families in meeting their transportation and nutritional needs at PRLC. We've done some healthy trunk or treat activities, and we've also done other hygiene and wellness kits for students in the schools. And all of this was in support of our community, and on behalf of the foundation, I want to say thank you. So those are just a snapshot. There's so many more. I could stand up here the whole time and read them, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so here's where we are as of January 31st. So these numbers are a little over a month old, but in our Lamro Endowment Fund, we have $195,000. Our Educational Endowment Fund, $280,000. Our Community Endowment, $77,000, and our unrestricted account, $126,000. So you can see that we have invested, and we have had a lot of support over the years to grow from that $10,000 we started with to the numbers here on the screen. And so we've done a really good job of that. But part of our responsibility is to spend the money that we're raising and growing so that we can do the good things. So it's not just to sit there and to grow and have us not pay attention to it. It's to actually put it back into the community, and that's really the purpose. So why give? We want everyone to continue to support the foundation in order for us to do more. I'd like to increase the scholarship amounts that we give. We'd like to be able to help more places, more organizations with our community support grants, and take on some new things. And so that's the challenge to all of you here in the room, is think of some things that you know, needs in the community, gaps that you see that people are not addressing. And if it's something that Rotary could potentially help with, those are the things that our foundation dollars are supposed to be for. And so that's where we want you to communicate with your board members, come to a board meeting, talk about it at lunch, but we really want to be able to do good, to do more, and those ideas come from our members. And so what you're passionate about and the things that you hear about in the community that are needed, those are the perfect opportunities for us to step in and help. So we'd like to encourage everyone to do that, and you know, your weekly gift to the boot or to the raffle and to all the other ways that you help support the foundation is really appreciated, but that's what's going to drive the success that we have in years to come, so we have more money to work with. And so you may have heard us talk about the Ed Siebert Fellows, and so every week you probably walk by our boards over here, and that is a donation to the Rotary Foundation of Peoria-North. That money goes into our foundation accounts, and it is a $500 donation. You can split it up over multiple years if you'd like to, but that is one of the ways that people have given more significantly to our foundation. And so if you give a donation of those in that way, you become an Ed Siebert Fellow. So you hear us talk a lot about the different awards and designations, and so the Ed Siebert Fellowship is something that is a Peoria-North specific award title. So if you have any questions about any of those things, just let one of us know and we can help with those questions. But hopefully that helps when we throw a lot of terms around. That is one that stays here in Peoria-North's foundation. So sorry, I am off my game today. That was not extremely inspirational. I apologize. But now you can put me on the hot seat and you can ask questions of me or anyone else from the board. And we'd like to be able to help you understand better. And if there's anything burning in your heart you want to say, related or not, you're welcome to say it.
I just want to say that your table is working as a team
Yeah, so we'll give you a minute.
for the crossword. So
Yes.
please start working on that crossword. You're working as a team, and there are prizes for the winning table. So now, are there any valid questions?
What are we missing?
Bingo.
I have a question. Right, this should be bequests.
Oh, that should, it wouldn't have been Ed C.
So everybody knows everything there is to know about the foundation, right? Great. Because everybody always says, oh, it's so confusing, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Tom.
Now, if I could, I would just like to make a couple comments about what you guys are doing. I had, pardon me? I had the opportunity to be up in Evanston at Rotary headquarters. This is many years ago. And a lot of clubs were represented. It wasn't just us. And the question came up, who has a foundation? Which one, the clubs that are represented, you would be amazed that we are in such lofty company, including downtown. They do not have a foundation per se, but it's a source of great pride. And the numbers that we are achieving and that you guys are achieving, that's great work.
Oh, that's why she said.
I'm a big fan of the Ed Seaburn program, but there's a lot of ways that you can take part. So Heather Longfall is warning me that we have just completed it. No, we haven't. Oh, okay. But my point is,
Get the hook out.
this is good stuff. This is us. This is our ability to make a tremendous contribution to the community in the future. Nice going, you guys.
Scott Paulson, do you have a question?
So we've had this question before. What's the board's philosophy on spending? Obviously, you'd like to spend only the money that you earn in interest and keep the capital, solid and stuff like that. What do you see as the club's philosophy regarding those amounts, or the philosophy in spending and using that money?
Sure, thank you for asking. So we, as a foundation board, we take a look, every May, and we're getting back into a better habit of doing this at the same time of year. But in May, we take a look at what our investment accounts are doing, and we look at a 3-year average. And so the 3-year average helps protect us from downturns in the market and like extreme highs. We look at where things are over an average of 3 years, and then we never touch the principal. So the money that we start with and the principal balances that are in the endowment, we don't ever touch. So it'll never go below what those numbers are. But looking at the market average and the earnings, we take the funds, and then that's where that 3 to 5% comes into play. And so we look at what those numbers are. So 3 to 5% of what's in the funds is what we want to put back into our budget. And so that's how we build out our community support grant numbers. That's how we came up with the $16,000 for scholarships this year. That wasn't arbitrary. That was really looking at, it was a 4% spend going into this year. And so 4% of what we had in those budgets that support scholarships is what $16,000 really came out of. So we take a look, and we want to make sure that we are spending the budgets that we get as well. So I think it's really important to know that the money is there to be spent. So your committees have budgets, and we want to make sure that we're using them, because that is why they're there. The money, we're very, very solid in our foundation, and the money is continuing to grow. But the reason we have it is to be able to do good. And so we're conservative when it comes to how we do that. But it's also the industry standard. So I work in fundraising. I work with endowments every day, and that 4%, 3 to 5% is really what the standard is currently. So we're right on target with where we want to be. We're right on target with what the industry is saying, and we have the flexibility of moving those things up and down. And if we have special things that come up that go outside of those budgets, that's okay too. So we can always go back, the foundation board and the club board and our club members can work together, and we can free up other money, but we try to keep it into, looking at that 3 to 5% so that we continue to have money down the road. So we don't make exceptions all the time, but we can. And so if there are big projects that come up, or there are needs that we want to address and we want to do that right now, we can do that. And so that's really the nice thing about having our own foundation. We're in control of what that looks like. Our club members are all members of that board and having those conversations. And so we want to encourage that. And so the money is there to be spent, but we're protecting that bottom line and being able to build on it every year. Brian, do you have a question?
Mark Whitlock, could you go page back about 5 pages, I think?
I can't touch this, Brian.
See if I can.
Let's see if we can. Okay. And then keep
I
your
can do
hands
it.
on.
I'm just.
Like, this isn't working for me most of the time. So.
There it is, right there.
Oh, go to the numbers. There we
Yeah,
go.
the numbers.
Oh, you just want to know how to spell Lamoureux again.
Yeah, cheaters.
We've got 4 funds, and the Lamoureux and the Education Endowment funds are both restricted funds. They're restricted to spending money exclusively on educational projects and scholarships.
So Lamoureux is specific to scholarships only, and then education is scholarships and education-related things. So yes, those are restricted to those areas.
Okay, so when we did the community service grants, and some of the projects that get submitted to the community service grants are educationally related. But that money comes from which one of the two other funds, community or unrestricted?
It could come from either one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Or there's a lot of funds that it could actually come out of. Right now, for this year, I will say that those funds came out of our foundation checking account. But if there are scholarship related things, we make sure that they come out of the restricted funds, because that's the only place that money can come from. So I think what the point you're getting at is that if it is anything education related, we need to make sure it comes out of those top two funds to free up other funds in other
Right.
places.
We're thinking about, how much we're spending on, and I think, we don't want to say the community service grant application process needs to eliminate any people applying for grants related to education, but we'd like to be able to either forward those requests or those applications to the Peoria-North Foundation board and have them evaluate those projects for use of education endowment funds. So we have kind of more unrestricted funds to use toward things that are not related to education.
So in theory, that's a great idea. And in the work, so the community support grants, and correct me if I'm wrong, because they've been around a lot longer than I have been in the club, but for the community support grants, the reason that we had a one time of year opportunity for community organizations to request things of us was so that it was fair. So it wasn't just Rotarians' pet projects coming up and everybody going to the board every single month asking for money, and then once we run out of money, we run out of money kind of thing. So we tried to streamline it so that it was a fair process with a community that was doing it. And really what the guidelines are for those community support grants is that it falls into the categories of what we help support. So it could, literacy is one of them, but it's also, economic growth, and it's, clean water, and all the things that we support as an organization. So we try to streamline it so that it's a one time where everybody knows that the application process is open and that everything is reviewed and weighed fairly. So that's part of why we don't want everything to come to us at all different times of the year, even if it does fall into the scholarships. But what we do have the ability to do is, and right now our scholarships we focus on the Interact and Rotaract because those are our sub fund or clubs that we support. So that's how we support that. But there is an opportunity that if there are other things that are outside of the Interact and Rotaract scholarships, like we are investigating of looking at, through ICC, the workforce development, and where are some places where people are not getting financial assistance to better their lives and to create opportunity for themselves. We're looking at those things. So there is an opportunity that we can, as a club board and as a foundation board, do more in that space that's outside of how we have them kind of bucketed right now. So it's kind of a question, or it's kind of an answer of both. We try to streamline it in one way, but then we are considering other opportunities moving forward. So,
Kelly, I have
Yes.
a last question.
Sure.
I'm doing this to prohibit Bob Howard from having a chance to ask a question.
thank you, Craig.
Here's my question. You'd mentioned earlier that financially the gains have run around $500,000. Is that what the number you used, or was it $50,000?
For what we've raised so far through like annual appeal, that was the
I think you said
500,000.
the earnings?
No,
That was
that's
the balance.
the balance.
I don't have a question then.
Okay. I wish the earnings were 500,000. That would be so much better. Then we would stop doing the annual appeal and just write it out.
I have a very quick question. So the total of our endowments is $680,355. This total, we can touch it at any time we want if we have a certain project
not the 680, only the earnings on that 680.
So how much is the earning on the 680?
It depends on the year. So we would have to look at from where the funds started, like what the initial gifts for those funds, where that is, and then we would have to look at what the earnings are. So we cannot touch that entire principal. And so right now, that's where that 3 to 5% comes in, because that doesn't touch anything that had been invested into the fund as the principal, and then it protects us from overspending in that. So no, we do not have that much to spend. And it fluctuates every month, but that's why we set the budget in around 27,000, yes. But we also have other, other ways that some of the other monies that come in through annual appeal and like other things, we're going to be doing our annual appeal coming up usually in the April timeframe. So that'll go into it. We don't get all of that money. It's not realized at one time because people pledge it out over time. So it's a little bit complicated. It's not very black and white of, it is money in and money out. There's a lot of ways that those things play, but that's part of the responsibility of being a board member is to understand that, take a look at all of that and make the best decision for our club so that we can continue to do great work and protect the money we have and hopefully let it grow. So, but thank you, Julia, for that question. Oh yes, and those numbers, yes, the contributions go down when our membership goes down. So we're not raising as much as we did when our club was 155 members, of course, but we're still doing really great things, and your contributions do really, really matter. So Lynn, do you want to take over for the crossword?
Sure. Isn't she amazing? Well, Kelly, thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to be giving out prizes. So I want you to select somebody at your table to kind of be your speaker. And we're going to give you the answers now.
Can you read that in the back? Randy, can you read that?
No, I can't read that in the front.
Okay, so,
You want to go
and I don't have readers on either.
here,
Okay, so our investments are managed by who? Baird, correct? You want to read that? Yeah, it's very small print. It's very small print. Charitable.
No, it's contribute.
I can't read it.
I need my glasses, Jeff. Thanks for trying.
I can.
Just read out the, yeah, here.
Okay.
Let me read it up here. I can read up here. Okay. Contribute. Okay.
We didn't practice this part.
Contribute to this and make an announcement at the meeting. Good news, Boo. Yearly fundraising effort, annual appeal. A donation given upon death is a memorial. Foundation money supports our local community. Recent foundation recipient nonprofit hit, White Cane Center for the Blind. Honors high school students recognition events, Sterling Merit. Increase in investments over time is the growth. Board of directors that oversees the foundation board is the club. I didn't say that before. Our club board reports to our foundation board reports to our club board. Recognition of $500 gift to the foundation is an Ed Siebert Fellow. Endowed account established in 2007 is the Bob Lamoureux. The foundation is a 501c3 tax exempt organization. Weekly gaming fund, $2 for tickets. Raffle. Effort to improve reading ability is literacy. Person who pays $2 to leave the meeting early is a scooter. And says funds where only the earnings can be spent. Yeah, it should say funds. It says funds. And it's endowed. So Baird, Good News Boo, Annual Appeal, Memorial, Community, Center for the Blind, Sterling Merit, Growth Club, Ed Siebert Fellow, Bob Lamoureux, Tax Exempt, Raffle, Literacy, Scooter, Endowed. So did anybody get them all right?
Okay, the prizes do not go to the one who got them all right. The prizes go to the one who got the most incorrect, because we figured you learn the most. So how many got 5 or more wrong? Which table got 5 or more incorrect?
We didn't do
They didn't even do it. No participation.
Okay, you don't win then.
Okay.
Because you didn't.
I think our table back by the coffee and
That
dessert.
one's wrong.
Somebody
Okay,
tried.
right.
So
6? I got 6 wrong.
That concludes today's program. Thank you very, very much. I hope you learned something. We're your foundation. We are looking at something very exciting coming up, so we'll have more news for you later. We are going to be looking for 2 new people. So if you would like to join our board, you can make that known and we will certainly consider you. We'd love to consider you. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.